Welcome children. Today we are going to talk about another important process, that is parturition. And this is the last phase, or this is the last step which leads to the birth of the baby. In the previous videos we have talked about the process of fertilization, the zygote formation, the morula formation, the formation of the blastocyst, and the embryonic development. What are the major events? So after the fetus is completely formed, it is ready for birth. And the process of the birth of the fetus, which is fully formed or fully developed, is known as parturition. So parturition is actually the process of delivery of the fully formed fetus. Also, when we are talking of parturition, let us try and understand that what is gestation. The gestation period is the period from the zygote formation to the fetus, and the fetus which is completely developed. So the time, that period is known as gestation period, and in the case of human being, the gestation period is 280 days, or it is 9 months. So all the steps that are taking place in the gestation period, right from the formation of the zygote to the formation of the fetus, which is completely developed, that period will involve various steps that we have studied in the previous videos. And after the 9 months, the baby is ready to be delivered by a process of parturition. And this process is a very complex process that is involving the neuroendocrine systems, both the systems, and the nervous system, that is the neural system, and the release of various hormones facilitate the childbirth. So let us study now how this happens. The mature fetus, that means the fetus when it is completely developed, that fetus will send signals in the form of certain hormones, and these hormones are traveling, or they pass through the placenta. So we say that mature fetus and the placenta both are involved in sending signals for parturition. So the mature fetus sends signals by releasing certain hormones, and therefore it is called as fetal ejection reflex, since it is first started by the fetus. So the fetal ejection reflex induces mild contractions in the uterine wall. So as a result, what is happening? The fetal ejection reflex causes the contractions of the uterus. Now these contractions in the uterus will stimulate the posterior pituitary gland. As a result, the oxytocin hormone is being produced by the posterior pituitary region. This oxytocin hormone further acts on the uterine tissues, and the oxytocin will therefore cause stronger uterine contractions. Earlier the contractions were mild, but as a result of the oxytocin which is being produced by the posterior pituitary region, it causes stronger uterine contractions. Now here we will observe a different phenomenon. As the contraction becomes stronger due to oxytocin, the stronger contraction will induce or will stimulate more production of oxytocin. So this is the case of positive feedback mechanism. So here, as a result of stronger uterine contractions, more amount of oxytocin will be produced, and this more oxytocin amount will further result in still stronger uterine contractions. Also, as a result of the contraction, there will be opening of the cervix and the broadening of the cervical canal. All these steps are helping the baby to move from the uterus to be pushed out of the vagina. So the cervix opens up and the cervical canal broadens. There is rupturing of the amnion because till now the baby is, or the fetus is developing within that amniotic cavity which was filled with the amniotic fluid. So here the rupturing of the amnion will take place due to the contractions, strong contractions, and the release of the amniotic fluid will happen. As also the oxytocin will be continuously causing the uterine tissues to contract strongly over there, which is known as the labor. Now, due to all this, the baby is pushed from the uterus due to the stronger contractions. The baby is pushed out through the cervical canal and through the vagina. It is expelled out. The head of the baby comes first. The movement of the baby from the uterus, apart from the stronger uterine contractions, it is also supported by the release of the relaxin hormone from the ovary. So the ovary will continuously secrete the hormone, that is relaxin, that will actually soften the pubic hypophysis region, facilitating the easy birth of the child. So the birth of the baby takes place. After the birth has taken place, the baby is still attached with the umbilical cord. So the umbilical cord needs to be cut, and soon after the birth, the placenta is also expelled out. Now it's a waste tissue, so it will be expelled out from the mother's uterus and is a waste. So we find that all the process which is taking place for the childbirth starts from the fetus, and this results into a series of activities which will finally cause the birth of the child.